Some prisons lock up more than just people. They trap fear, pain, and dark memories. In South Australia, behind old stone walls and rusted bars, something still stirs. Visitors hear whispers, feel cold hands, and see shadows where no one should be. These are not just stories. They are warnings. From haunted cells to ghostly footsteps, these prisons hold secrets that refuse to die. Are you brave enough to discover what really haunts South Australia's darkest corners? If these chilling tales gave you goosebumps, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more real haunted stories that will keep you up at night. Don't just watch, become part of the darkness. 1. Adelaide Jail. Adelaide Jail is one of the oldest and most well-known prisons in South Australia. It was built in 1841 and remained in use for more than 140 years. The prison was home to some of the most dangerous criminals in the state, and over 300,000 prisoners passed through its doors. It is now a popular tourist attraction and is believed by many to be haunted. People who visit the jail often report strange sounds, cold spots, and even ghost sightings. The heavy history and dark past of the place seem to have left behind something that cannot be explained. More than 40 prisoners were executed at Adelaide Jail, with most of them being hanged. Some of these hangings were done in public, which made the prison even more feared at the time. One of the most famous ghosts believed to haunt the prison is that of Elizabeth Woolcock. She was the only woman ever hanged in South Australia. Elizabeth was convicted of poisoning her husband, but many believe she was innocent and wrongly accused. Her spirit is said to still walk the halls, especially near the area where she was held before her execution. People who work or visit the jail have shared many stories about their experiences. Some say they hear footsteps when no one is around, or voices whispering in empty rooms. There have also been reports of sudden drops in temperature, even on hot days. Tour guides and security staff have told stories of lights turning on and off by themselves, doors slamming shut, and feelings of being watched. One former guard even claimed to have seen a shadowy figure standing at the end of a hallway, which vanished when he tried to approach it. Many ghost tours are held at the Adelaide Jail, especially at night. These tours allow people to walk through the old cell blocks, execution areas, and tunnels. The tours often share real stories of prisoners, punishments, and escapes. Some visitors have caught strange images in their photos or heard unexplained noises during their tour. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, the prison has a very strong atmosphere, and most people feel a sense of unease when walking through it. Today, Adelaide Jail is preserved as a historical site. It stands as a reminder of South Australia's justice system in the early days. While the prison no longer holds inmates, its past is very much alive. Between its history, the stories of suffering and death, and the many reports of paranormal activity, Adelaide Jail remains one of the most haunted places in South Australia. 2. Old Mount Gambier Jail. Old Mount Gambier Jail is located in the city of Mount Gambier, South Australia. It was first opened in 1866 and was used as a prison for more than 130 years. This jail was built to hold both male and female prisoners and had a reputation for being a cold and harsh place. The prison had thick stone walls, small cells, and strong iron doors. Life inside the jail was tough, and many prisoners faced hard labor and strict rules. Over time, stories started to spread that the prison might be haunted. After the prison was closed in 1995, the building was left empty for a while. Later, it was turned into a budget accommodation and tourist site. People who stayed overnight or visited the old prison started reporting strange things. Some said they heard footsteps in the hallways when no one was there. Others claimed they heard voices, crying, or banging noises from empty cells. These reports led many people to believe that the jail is haunted by the spirits of former prisoners. Some of the stories are linked to real people who were once locked up there. One common story is about a prisoner who died in his cell under mysterious circumstances. Visitors say they have felt sudden cold air or a heavy feeling in that same cell. A few people even said they saw a figure standing at the end of their bed while they were sleeping in the old cell rooms, now used for guests. Tour guides and staff have also shared their own experiences. Some reported lights flickering on and off by themselves or doors opening without anyone touching them. One guide claimed to feel a hand on their shoulder, but when they turned around, no one was there. These kinds of events happen often enough that the jail is now considered one of the most haunted places in the state. Ghost tours are now a popular activity at the Old Mount Gambier Jail. Visitors are taken through the cell blocks, exercise yards, and punishment rooms while hearing real stories of the people who once lived and died there. Some guests bring cameras or ghost hunting tools and say they have caught strange or unexplained things in their recordings. Even though the prison is no longer used to hold criminals, its long history of pain, fear, and loss seems to have left a mark. Many believe that the strong emotions of the past are still present in the building today. The Old Mount Gambier Jail continues to attract both history lovers and ghost hunters from all over Australia. 3. Gladstone Jail. Gladstone Jail is a historic prison located in the small town of Gladstone in South Australia. It was opened in 1881 and was designed to hold both male and female prisoners. The prison was made with strong stone walls and thick iron doors, making it a very secure place. For many years, it was used to hold all types of criminals, including those serving long sentences. It was also used as an internment camp during World War I and World War II to hold enemy aliens. After more than 100 years of use, the prison was finally closed in 1975. Since its closure, the prison has become a popular place for visitors. People come to explore its dark hallways, small cells, and punishment areas. Over time, many strange and unexplained events have been reported by visitors, staff, and tour guides. These stories have led to the belief that Gladstone Jail is haunted. Some visitors have said they heard footsteps behind them when no one was there. Others claim to hear crying, whispers, or heavy breathing coming from empty cells. There are also stories about specific spirits that may still haunt the prison. One popular story is about a man who took his own life inside the jail many years ago. Visitors say they feel a strong sadness in that part of the prison and sometimes feel like they are being watched. In another area, people have said they saw a woman in old-fashioned clothing walking through the cell block before disappearing. These sightings are often reported in the same areas again and again, which makes them even more mysterious. Staff members who take care of the building have also had strange experiences. Some say that tools go missing or are moved without anyone touching them. Others have heard loud bangs or doors slamming shut when no one else is in the building. Even those who don't believe in ghosts admit that the prison has a heavy, strange feeling to it, especially at night. Today, Gladstone Jail is open to the public for tours, school visits, and even overnight stays. It has become known as one of South Australia's most haunted prisons. Ghost tours are often held in the evening, and guests are allowed to explore the prison with torches while hearing real-life stories of the past. Whether people come to learn about history or to experience something paranormal, the old stone walls of Gladstone Jail continue to leave a lasting impression. The prison may no longer hold inmates, but many believe the spirits of the past have never left. For Port Augusta Prison. Port Augusta Prison has a long and serious history in South Australia. It was officially opened in the 1930s and is still used today as a working prison. However, there are stories about an older part of the prison grounds that date back even further, possibly to the late 1800s. Over the years, this prison has housed some of the state's most dangerous and troubled prisoners. Because of its remote location and strict security, it has always been known as a tough place to be locked up. With time, stories began to spread about strange things happening inside its walls. Many former staff members and visitors have spoken about unusual experiences in the prison. Some guards reported hearing footsteps when no one was around or voices coming from empty cells. Others said they felt sudden cold air in certain parts of the building, even when the rest of the prison was warm. These stories became more common over the years, and some people began to believe that the prison might be haunted. There are also tales of prisoners who died inside the prison under tragic or violent circumstances. One such story tells of a young inmate who was kept in solitary confinement and later died in his cell. Some say they have seen a shadowy figure in that part of the prison, or felt a strange presence while passing through. Another story tells of an angry spirit that causes doors to slam shut or lights to flicker for no clear reason. Even though Port Augusta Prison is still active, parts of the older buildings are no longer used. These areas are often the places where strange things are reported. Staff who have worked in the prison for many years sometimes refuse to enter certain rooms alone. A few even say they have quit their jobs because of the things they experienced there. Because the prison is still in use, it is not open to the public for regular tours. However, some documentaries and researchers have been allowed to visit the older sections to study the history and the reports of paranormal activity. These visitors have also captured strange noises, unexplained cold spots, and eerie feelings in their recordings. Port Augusta Prison continues to serve as a secure correctional facility, but its haunted reputation lives on. The stories passed down by guards, prisoners, and workers over the years have made it one of the most mysterious and talked about prisons in South Australia. Whether the strange events are caused by ghosts or simply by fear and imagination, the prison's dark past cannot be denied. 5. Yatala Labour Prison. Yatala Labour Prison is one of the oldest and most important prisons in South Australia. It is located near Adelaide and was opened in 1854. It was first built to hold prisoners who were sentenced to hard labor. The prison is still in use today, making it one of the longest-running jails in the country. The building is made from strong stone, and the original structure was built by the prisoners themselves using stone from a nearby quarry. Over the years, the prison has held thousands of inmates, including some of the most dangerous criminals in South Australia's history. Because of its long and dark history, many people believe that Yatala Labour Prison is haunted. There have been reports from both prison staff and former inmates about strange and unexplained events. Some guards have said they heard whispering voices when no one was around or saw shadows moving through the hallways. Others spoke of sudden cold spots in areas that are usually warm, especially at night. One of the most common stories is about hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. There are also stories about certain parts of the prison feeling heavy or full of sadness. Some believe this is because many prisoners died inside the prison, either from illness, fights, or even suicide. In the older sections of the jail, some say they have felt like they were being watched. A few have even said they saw the ghost of a man in old prison clothes, walking silently past the cells and then disappearing. Unlike some other historic prisons, Yatala is still an active prison, so it is not open for public ghost tours. However, there have been special cases where researchers or media teams were allowed to visit the old areas of the prison. Some of them recorded unusual sounds or strange movements that they could not explain. These stories have added to the prison's haunted reputation over the years. Even workers who do not believe in ghosts admit that Yatala has a heavy and serious feeling to it. The prison has seen many years of suffering, punishment, and fear. For some, that kind of energy stays behind. While it is mainly known for its role in the justice system, it is also known as one of the most mysterious and possibly haunted places in the state. Yatala Labour Prison's long history, deep silence, and strange events continue to make people wonder what really happens behind its thick stone walls. 6. Old Redruth Jail, Burra. Old Redruth Jail is located in the historic town of Burra, South Australia. It was built in 1856 and was the first prison constructed outside of Adelaide. The jail was used to hold criminals from the surrounding copper mining towns and nearby areas. It was small, with only a few cells, and conditions were very harsh. Prisoners had little food, no comfort, and were kept under strict rules. Many were locked up for crimes like stealing, drunkenness, or fighting. The prison only operated for about 40 years before it was closed in 1894, but its history has left a strong impact on the town. After the prison closed, the building was used for other purposes. It became a girls' reformatory in the early 1900s, where young girls were sent to be punished or trained in proper behavior. The stories from this time are also very sad. Many of the girls were treated poorly, and some suffered emotional pain while living there. Because of these past events, some people believe that the jail has spirits or energy left behind from the suffering that took place within its walls. Today, Old Redruth Jail is a museum and historic site. Visitors can walk through the old cells, the kitchen, and other parts of the building. Over the years, Many visitors and staff have shared stories about strange and unexplained events inside the jail. Some people say they have seen figures standing in doorways or felt someone touching them when no one else was nearby. Others have heard footsteps, whispering voices, or the sound of crying, especially in the old cell areas. One well-known story is about a young girl's ghost who is believed to have lived at the reformatory. Some visitors claim to have seen her near the window or walking down the hallway. Others have said they felt her presence, especially in one of the bedrooms where she may have stayed. These reports are often taken seriously by paranormal investigators, who have visited the site with cameras and sound equipment to study the strange activity. The jail has also become part of local ghost tours. At night, people can visit with guides who tell stories of its past and the unexplained things that continue to happen there. These tours are popular with both tourists and locals who are interested in history and the supernatural. Even people who do not believe in ghosts agree that the building has a heavy and eerie feeling. Old Redruth Jail remains an important piece of South Australia's past. It tells the story of early justice, punishment, and forgotten lives. Whether haunted or not, the walls of the jail seem to hold on to the memories of everyone who lived, worked, or suffered there. 7. Kapunda Jail. Kapunda Jail is located in the small town of Kapunda, South Australia. It is one of the lesser-known but deeply mysterious prisons in the state. The prison was built in the 19th century and was used to hold local criminals during the time when Kapunda was a busy mining town. It was not as large as other prisons, but it served an important role in keeping law and order during the copper boom. The jail is now closed and not used as a working prison, but it still stands today and has gained a reputation for being haunted. Many people believe that Kapunda Jail is one of the most haunted places in South Australia. The stories began when locals and visitors reported strange sights and sounds coming from inside the old prison building. People have heard footsteps walking across wooden floors, even when no one was there. Others have said they heard whispering voices, loud bangs, or felt sudden cold spots, especially near the old cells and underground areas. Some believe that the spirits of past prisoners are still trapped in the jail. One of the most talked about ghosts is that of a former prisoner who died under very sad and painful conditions. His ghost is said to roam the cell blocks, and people often feel a heavy pressure on their chest or a sense of fear when they enter his cell. Another story speaks of a former guard whose angry spirit still walks the halls, watching over the building even after death. Over the years, paranormal investigators have visited Kapunda Jail with special equipment to capture ghostly activity. They have recorded strange sounds, sudden changes in temperature, and unusual light patterns that could not be explained. Some photos taken during tours have also shown mysterious figures or shadows that were not seen by the naked eye. These signs have added to the belief that the jail is truly haunted. Local ghost tours sometimes include Kapunda Jail as part of their route. Tour guides share real stories of prisoners and staff who once lived and worked there. They also talk about the strange things that have happened since the jail was closed. Visitors are often surprised by the strong feeling of sadness or fear they experience when walking through the old building. Even though Kapunda Jail is no longer in use, it remains a powerful reminder of South Australia's dark history. Its quiet halls and old stone walls seem to hold the energy of the past. Whether the stories are true or just part of local legend, many who visit leave with the feeling that they were not alone inside. 8. Munta Police Station and Holding Cells, South Australia. Munta Police Station and holding cells are located in the historic copper mining town of Munta, South Australia. During the 1800s, Munta was a very busy place because of its rich copper mines. As the town grew, crime also increased, and there was a need for a police station and jail to keep law and order. The small jail, also known as the holding cells, was built next to the police station to keep prisoners before they were taken to larger prisons like Adelaide Jail. The building is made of thick stone, with cold, dark cells that were very basic and uncomfortable. Although it was not a large prison, many people believe the Munta holding cells are haunted. Over the years, locals and visitors have reported strange things happening in and around the building. Some have said they heard banging sounds on the cell doors when no one was there. Others have heard voices, crying, or even screaming coming from the empty cells late at night. These strange events have been happening for many years and are believed to be connected to the prisoners who once stayed there. One of the most well-known stories is about a man who died in one of the cells many years ago. It is said he was very sick and was not given proper care. People believe his spirit is still there, and some visitors say they feel cold or very sad when standing near his old cell. Others have seen what they describe as a shadowy figure moving across the hallway or standing quietly in the corner. Some people who live near the old police station have also shared their experiences. They say they sometimes hear strange noises at night, like heavy footsteps or loud whispers. A few even claim to see lights turning on and off inside the building, even though it's no longer in use. These reports have made the old police station and holding cells a place of interest for ghost hunters and paranormal researchers. In recent years, the building has become a heritage site. Guided tours are sometimes offered, and visitors can explore the holding cells and learn about Munta's early days. The tour guides share real stories about the prisoners who were locked up there, along with the strange things that have happened since the jail closed. Many people who visit say the atmosphere inside the building feels heavy and quiet, as if the place still remembers the pain and fear of the past. Today, the Munta police station and holding cells are no longer active, but they remain a powerful symbol of the town's history. Whether or not the ghost stories are true, the old stone walls continue to draw people in, curious to learn more about the lives once held behind them. 9. Wallaroo Jail. Wallaroo Jail was once a small but important jail in the town of Wallaroo, South Australia. Wallaroo was a busy port town during the 1800s because of its copper exports. With the increase in workers and travelers, crime also rose, and the town needed a place to hold criminals. The Wallaroo Jail was built to keep prisoners temporarily before they were sent to larger prisons like Adelaide Jail or Yatala Labor Prison. The building was simple and made of stone, with just a few dark and cold cells. Life inside the jail was hard, and prisoners were often kept in poor conditions. Although the jail was small, many stories have been told about strange events that happened there. People believe that the building is haunted because of the suffering that took place inside its walls. Locals have said they heard strange sounds at night, like doors slamming or footsteps walking across the floor when no one was there. Some even claimed to hear crying or whispering voices coming from the empty cells. These stories have been passed down through generations and are still talked about today. One well-known story is about a man who died inside one of the cells under mysterious circumstances. Some believe he was wrongly accused of a crime and died angry and alone. Visitors who have stood near his old cell say they feel a heavy presence or a cold breeze that seems to come from nowhere. A few people have even reported seeing a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room, disappearing as they turn to look. The old Wallaroo jail building still stands today as part of the town's heritage. It is sometimes included in historical tours, especially during local festivals or ghost events. People are allowed to walk through the old cells and learn about the history of crime and punishment in the early days of the town. Tour guides often share real stories of the prisoners and talk about the strange things that have happened inside the jail even after it was closed. Many who visit say the building has a quiet, eerie feeling, as if the past is still alive. Even though the jail is no longer in use, the dark energy and ghost stories remain. Paranormal investigators have visited the site and reported strange noises, flickering lights, and unexplained cold spots. Some say it is one of the most haunted spots in the region, even though it is not as famous as other large prisons. Wallaroo Jail may be small, but its dark history and ghost stories continue to interest those who visit. It stands as a reminder of a time when justice was harsh and life behind bars was filled with fear and sadness. Whether haunted or not, the building holds the memories of many who passed through its heavy doors. 10. Peterborough Jail. Peterborough Jail is a small but historic prison located in the town of Peterborough, South Australia. The town was once a major railway centre, and during its busiest years, the population grew quickly. With more people came more crime, and the local police needed a place to hold prisoners. The Peterborough Jail was built in the late 1800s and was used to lock up people for short periods. It was not a large prison, but it had strong stone walls and a few dark, cramped cells where prisoners waited before being sent to larger jails in other cities. Over time, The jail gained a reputation for being a very cold and uncomfortable place. There was little light inside the cells, and prisoners were often left alone for long hours with no contact. Many were held for crimes like theft, drunken behavior, or fighting. Some prisoners were very troubled, and there are records of people falling sick or even dying while in custody. Because of its sad and lonely history, many people believe the Peterborough Jail is haunted. Locals and visitors have shared many stories about strange things happening in and around the building. Some people say they have heard chains rattling, even though no one else was there. Others have spoken of footsteps echoing through the hallway or doors slamming shut without warning. One of the most common reports is the sound of a man groaning or crying coming from one of the back cells. When checked, the cell is always empty. There is also a story about a former police officer who used to work in the building and claimed he would often hear whispering voices late at night. He said the voices would stop the moment he turned on the lights or entered the cell area. Some believe these voices belong to the spirits of past prisoners who suffered inside the cold stone walls. Today, the Peterborough Jail is part of a museum and heritage site. Visitors can explore the old cells, see historical police equipment, and read real documents from the jail's history. Some ghost tours are also offered, especially during the evening, when the building feels even more eerie. Many people say the jail has a heavy and sad feeling, as if the pain of the past is still trapped inside. Even though the jail is no longer used, its dark and quiet halls continue to leave a strong impression. The stories of suffering, strange noises, and ghostly experiences make Peterborough Jail one of South Australia's most quietly haunted places. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the history of this little prison is enough to give anyone chills.